Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Maryville Care Show today before our Thanksgiving holiday, and we're just really excited this evening to have Christie Richardson join us from Catholic Charities.
Good evening.
Thank you for being here. You know, Catholic Charities has been a outstanding partner with Maryville for all of these years, and we really felt like this was an important time to reconnect in terms of what's going out in resources for the community. And so I just want to begin by saying my name is Amy Kendal. I am privileged to be the director of the Maryville Crisis Nursery, and our program is designed to support families in the Chicagoland area with young children. And what's helpful with our program is that we are connected to many different organizations and partners, one of which is Catholic Charities. So we really wanted to highlight their services. And Christie, why don't you begin to tell us a little bit about your background and how you started in the field?
Okay, Amy, first of all, thanks for having us here at your broadcast today. My name is Christie Richardson, and I'm happy to be here to talk about Catholic Charities, who's been around a little bit over 100 years. And today we will talk about the services on the west side of Chicago. I've been with Catholic Charities 21 years, and in different facets as regional director, but mainly working with the community, providing information, connecting resources and services to the community at a large. So I'm just happy to be here, so thank you for having me
Yes,
today.
of course. I have to say, when you think about all those, I have to say, decades of work that you've been doing, highlight when you think about today, you know, your day today, it's Monday, and the work that you've been doing in the last few months. You know, as we both know, every day looks different, and certainly our response to the pandemic has been one in which we've all really had to work together. And what would you say is now your biggest focus in terms of what families need, what's out there for children? Can you speak about that?
Sure. So I'm the regional director at the regional office in Austin community, so that's the west side of Chicago. Catholic Charities have several regional offices, which we call them the mini administration buildings, and the services that we provide at each regional office deals with the community on every level, from senior services, veterans, family and youth services, family stabilization, which provides pantries, clothing, rent assistance, and then our counseling services, and much, much more. But in the pandemic, it didn't matter what the services were, because Catholic Charities is here to serve. And we made whatever we needed to do, the accommodation, the changes, the switch this to that, or just bringing in things to make sure that we're able to provide the services to the community. We did not quit, but we expanded and maneuvered and made changes to be able to adapt to the new environment that we were forced to be in, which is okay, because we still provided services to our clients whichever way that we could. If that meant being creative, which in a lot of places that's what we did. And I'll just give an example. On the west side, most of our services dealing with counseling. And so during the pandemic, that really heightened. Being on the west side, you deal with those who have experienced traumatic situations. So you have the social, emotional situations. You have just being in a situation where they're fearful of their lives. They're in situations, the youth, where it's fighting, there's violence, there's trauma after trauma after trauma. And then the pandemic hits. How can we still service our clients, and you kind of have to isolate yourselves?
Yeah.
So you have to be creative. You get a telecart at your location, And though you can't come in the office, the client can come in the office so that they can still meet with you, can still have a conversation, can still be able to tell what's going on with them. And then on top of what's going on, deal with the pandemic. So the services, we still provided our services to the best of our ability. I would say that it expanded because of the COVID, but we're still here and we're still, serving.
Yeah, no, it's really outstanding to think about the spirit of making it happen,
Yes.
and being able to consider what is the priorities and then being able to respond, which clearly that's what many of your programs have done. What's a wonderful thing is that, as you said, you've expanded. Can you talk a little bit about some of the services on the west side that might be of interest to families for their children?
Sure. Like I talked about, the social and emotional wellness and needing those type of services. So we have a plethora of counselors, therapists, social workers, coordinators, case managers that are out there to the families, being able to speak Spanish as well, providing those one-on-ones, family-oriented youth services in the sense of counseling. In the counseling, not only are we dealing with the emotion or the trauma or the situation, whether it was abuse or things like that, we also provide additional services in certain programs, ages 14 to 24, or the family, and make sure that they are, being provided for. So if they need job skills, if they need, to learn how to get a job and keep a job, we have those type of programmings that provide that type of services. We also have where you're able to come to our location or call and provide rental assistance. A lot of things happened during the COVID, but we had the provision. We were blessed to be able to get things that we were able to bless clients to pay their rent. We were able to help pay for burials, during the COVID situation, which that was something different for Catholic Charities, but we were able to do that. So as the need came about, I just want to give a shout out to our new CEO to find the resources that is something different than what we may have provided that we were able to during the COVID, and we continue on.
Yeah, and it's just marvelous to recognize that you use the word adapt, and that's pretty important as we think about what children and families, obviously what we had to do to provide services, but what was going on in the homes, and as you described, the many different unstable situations and unpredictable things that happen in our lives, that your responsiveness was there, and how we sort of begin to heal and move forward and begin to really design the program so we can protect and build up our communities. There's a sense of hope that's out there, and it's critical for us to be able to integrate that into our work when sometimes things can seem, quite daunting. Yes. And I got to say, I was just really thankful, and I think the families were very pleased. And during the fall festival that we had over at the Tolton Center, which is, if you don't mind, maybe you could share that address of the Tolton Center on the west side?
Sure. The name of our location is Father Augustus Tolton Peace Center, and we're located at 5645 West Cochran Place, Chicago, and we're in the 60644 zip code. Some people would recognize us as the old ABC Bank and Lake Street, but don't do the Lake Street because you'll end up on the other side of the L track. So 5645 West Cochran Place, and we're just a couple of blocks east of Austin Boulevard.
Yeah, and that's a place for families to come. And what can they expect when they come to visit? What's there that they can access?
So when you come to the bank setting,
Okay.
but it's Catholic Charities, you will be welcomed by our security guard who will find out what you're there for, but you'll be in awe of just the magnitude of that location. It's a beautiful edifice. We kept everything mostly like it was, and we just fit it in the bank atmosphere. It looks big, but we're full with services and with partnership with you, Maryville, on one end. When you come, you ask questions, and we'll get someone who will be able to answer if that particular services is not there. So I'll just talk about the services at that location, starting with Maryville, partnership with Maryville and their crisis nursery, parenting classes, and attention to the needs of the parents of those kids that are in the nursery. We partner with them whenever we can. The building is not different entities. We are there to serve. So whether Maryville, whether Catholic Charities, whether other partners that come to the location, we make sure everyone knows about all the services there. We have our senior services that provide provision and assessments for someone that may need a caregiver. So if you have an elderly person or someone that is 55 and older that are in need of care in their homes, or going to the grocery store, or need someone to clean, that's where you come to get an assessment by our senior services program, and they can assess the need to find out if you may be able to have a caregiver. Then we have our veteran service and housing services, which has a housing program for youth. They're stationed at the Douglas School, and so that caseload is at the max, but you can still come in because that person can still help you if you have questions about housing. And there, in that program, they deal with the homeless youth at the Douglas School, and we find out what the needs are for everyone in that particular client's family. So the caseload is at 150 because you take the kids and then you get the whole family, and you just case management, trying to get them up to the highest potential that they can in their life. We also have family stabilization, which is an encompass of SNAP to work program, rental assistance. If you need SNAP, we can assess and go ahead and register for a SNAP for you at that location as well. So we have a plethora of services that are right there in the building, as well as being able to provide other services that Catholic Charities have within the community. Last but not least, our powerful services, all of them are good, but our powerful services is what the need is for the West Side. And so we come with like 3 programs that are ready to serve those who have dealt with trauma, whether they are the victim or the perpetrator. We are there to be able to meet with them one-on-one, then with the family, and be able to just provide the need that they will have as far as being traumatized, whether it's violence, abuse, sexual abuse, fighting in the homes with the parents, bullying, mental illness. We're able to have a session with you and refer you to even more Catholic Charity services that deal with mental illness and things like that. Our encompassing services is in Garfield, and they are located on Harrison Street, so they deal with our mental abuse. But we're partners in the community, so we provide those things.
Well, and when I listen to you, Catholic Charities really has created a continuum of service.
Yes.
Really from babies and families developing and growing to young adults,
Yes.
to trying to manage a family and what that's going to look like. And then, as we get older in our life, and that really is a continuum. And, one of the things that we've really appreciated is being able to be in that same building with you and be able to share some of those resources with the families that might stop in that are using crisis nursery services. I started to mention this fall, we provided a fall festival, and it was a really fun little event where families were able to get some costumes and some things for the kids, and they did a little bit of shopping for some clothes, and it was just a really nice day. And
It was perfect.
I just, the goal here is, as you and I have talked about, is continuing that type of atmosphere, that we want people to know that that is a beacon of support, that when you think about the history of that building and what it did for a community, and how it's now been extended to provide support in a different way.
Yes.
It really is quite fascinating. Yes. And in fact, I believe that has been part of a historical building here in Chicago that has others have appreciated during a tour of different places in Chicago. Can you speak to that at all?
Yes, once you're talking about Open House Chicago.
Yeah.
Open House Chicago, which is a Chicago famous architectural tour throughout the city of Chicago. And since we've been in the location, that's when Open House Chicago came to the west side. So shout out to us for bringing it to the west side. But it exposed the west side, which the west side has phenomenal and a plethora of architectural buildings, homes that the city didn't know about. And so every year, since 4 years ago, they've been coming every year that we've been a part of Open House Chicago. And the history, like you said, yes, I've had the pastors through that come through who have had family members that worked at the bank, president, vice president, where the bank used to be. We have a picture where a young lady now lives in a house that was down the street from it, so, and that was in the 18th century. So you see the dirt roads, and now you have the concrete, so it's a lot of history in that bank. And it's a pleasure to do that tour, because you meet a lot of people that come in just to see. And it's like, oh, wow, it's still the same. You're still here. And people didn't realize the bank was built around the vault. We have one of the oldest vaults in the world, and it's very few, I believe it's only 3 of those type of vaults that we have in the bank that is still usable. So it's a beacon of light, right there on Cochran Place, and we appreciate the opportunity to show it off whenever we can. So it is open for tours. I do the tours if you want to come in and just to see the building, but you'll also hear about our services that we have at that location. So,
well, and what has been really interesting over the last, I think, year, maybe 2 years, you could speak to this a little bit, that even our own TV shows in the area have been a part of showing off that. Can you share that a little bit?
Sure. So because of the building and it's so unique, Chicago Fire has filmed there twice. One episode they changed it to look like a post office, and then the second episode, which you can see now, season 9, episode 9, they used the vault, and they were able to go in, and they reconstructed where they have the safety deposit box, because when you close a bank, you have to pull the doors off of those boxes, and it's just empty. Well, they recreated the whole area to where 2 of the actors had to go in there and utilize the safety deposit box, which, when they come in and do that, if we like it, we tell them to leave it. So it's beautiful. And then we had Chicago Med that came to utilize our parking lot, because they filmed right there on Waller Street next to the bank. So they like us, we love them, and so we're looking forward to even more episodes at that bank.
Well, it's really been a light of fun for those in the area, and also for many of us who work in that building, to really see that people are recognizing all communities and how they have been such an important part of building and being a part of keeping them strong. And so that's kind of a special piece. And I think that as we're moving towards, our days of more healthier days and things like that, I think one of the things that you've also alluded to a little bit ago, but maybe you can talk about, there's been some programming at the Peace Corner, which is, I think, on Madison Avenue.
Yes, so my role as a regional director is to connect all of our services with the community. So I'm West Side Regional for Catholic Charities, and so I'm out there in the community telling everyone about the Tulsa Peace Center, to include Maryville and all the services. But we also have other services on the West Side. On Madison, a WIC Food Center. We have other entities, but I'm going to talk about the Youth Center, which is called the Peace Corner Youth Center, Catholic Charities Peace Corner Youth Center. And so we've been there about 6 years, where we received this location. And it's for the youth. We have social skills, life skills, sports and recreation, mentoring, parenting classes for the parents, and just it's bringing the youth a safe haven. It's a safe haven. They love to come there. They love to play the games, the video, but they also, respect us and wanted them to want to learn. And so we're excited this year to be a part of the West Side Sports Organization Basketball League. And so that kicked off this week. We had a press conference this past Tuesday. And so with the 15th district, we're able to partner in that and allow our kids to be on the basketball team. They receive uniforms, bags, things like that. So it's exposing, the youth that may not have part of this to be, a part of Catholic Charities, just expose you a little bit more, while also dealing with the underlying things that may not be happy at home or things like that. So we're at the Peace Corner, 5022 West Madison, and Monday through Friday, providing services for the kids when they're out of school. So after school, and holidays coming up, so we'll be early in the morning from 10 to 2. So,
well, and it's a very unique site, because when you walk in off of Madison, it's a storefront and you have all the fun games and things, but then when you go in the back, there's this awesome gym. And it's just, how can you beat it? The kids just absolutely love that opportunity to, particularly as the weather gets bad, that's such a wonderful space for basketball and all kinds of sports. And it's really great to hear that this is being more integrated, so the kids really know that they can be there. Because at the end of the day, we want our children to know that there's safe havens. And whether you go to the Park District and there's a program there, or if there's something at your school. But we really want to build positive experiences, because that just extends itself into other spaces. And we know from the pandemic, one of the things that has been quite a bit of a challenge is people just being able to move around. And now that, although we're still masking, and that the day will come, that will stop. But until then, at least we can still get out and do some physical activity, and kids deserve that. That's a necessity.
They look forward to it, and then we feed them as well. So it's a place where it's just not a hangout. They look forward to the little bit of structure that we have there. They love the staff that we have there, faithful Mr. Andy Williams, who's been there, throughout the 6 years. So that's like a grandpa that they can go and look forward to have a conversation. And so it's just expanding, and we're partnered with other entities in the communities. There are other youth programs around there, but it doesn't matter. We have our kids, they have their kids, and we come together sometimes on field trips. Different activities that we come up with, Halloween, or we took them out to different places, And now they come to us, for the basketball opportunity as well as whatever we have to offer with Catholic Charities. So the services that we provide for the whole home, everyone benefits from coming to the Peace Corner. So,
yeah, no, that's really great to hear, and it's an important resource that we want people in the schools and parents to know about, so that way they can come out and check it out. It sounds like if they are interested in having their kids be there. Is there a sign up for that, or how does that process work?
So you could come to the location, 5022 West Madison, and on site you'll give you the application, or you can take it home and bring it back. They could drop in and check it out for the day, and then think about it. But we pretty much open door policy. Just come in and see how it is, and then if you like it, then tell your parent to come and get the application, and that's how we've been dealing with it. So we have a good amount of kids, and they keep coming in, which is good. Yeah, which is good. So
the other service that you brought up was about WIC. Can you talk a little bit about that? Are families able to go into the WIC stores now?
So how we're affiliated with WIC over 25 years plus, Catholic Charities is the only entity in the United States that's a food distributor just for WIC, meaning we have our own food stores, and in those stores our only WIC approved product. We have over 16 throughout Chicago, and you're on the WIC program. We're not the WIC program, but once you get signed up for WIC, instead of going to another store or the retail store and get discouraged because you get a WIC product, you think you get a WIC product, you go to the register and it's not a WIC product, so you have to go back to to where the groceries are. When you come to our store, you come with everything because it's WIC approved, 100% WIC approved. So you won't get that turnaround or confusion because it's all WIC approved. And so we have 16. We do have the EBT, so everybody's on the EBT, so not link card, but WIC is now EBT. So you don't have the coupons, you have the WIC card, EBT, that you can come to our stores and get the WIC product. So we've been around over 25 years, and so it's a benefit. It's a beneficial right there. So, and some of our WIC food centers are connected to the WIC clinic, so we call that the one-stop shop. You certify, get your WIC EBT card for your mom and your children up to the age of 5, and then you are able to go right into the store and shop.
And I know that during the pandemic, there was the opportunity for all Chicago Public School students to gain access to the EBT card. I know that was very beneficial to families. Do you happen to know if that's still occurring?
So the EBT for that is with Link.
Okay.
That's different from WIC.
Okay.
Did WIC get an increase? They did get an increase in the sense of we provided food baskets for the WIC clients. As far as the EBT, when it comes to WIC, it's like a prescribed.
Okay.
You get your prescription on what you qualify for WIC.
Okay. Well, Christie, this has been just a wonderful opportunity to learn so much. And, maybe you could share, as we wrap this up, the Catholic Charities website, if people have, questions or want to seek more information about Catholic Charities services. Do you mind sharing that website?
Sure. www.catholiccharities.net. That's the website. And the phone number is 312-655-7200. 312-655-7700. I stand corrected.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, Christie. To you and your whole family, a wonderful Thanksgiving, and to our audience.
Same to you, Amy.
We wish you well during this holiday season, and have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.